Welkom bij de Leiderschapspodcast van City Life Church. Dit is Leadership Talks.
Hi and welcome back to Leadership Talks. I am talking with Pastor Mario Rui Boto. He is from Portugal, the Hillsong lead pastor in Portugal and also part of the Hillsong Global Board. He's been with us for a whole weekend. You did fantastic. We really enjoyed your leadership training and men conference and the Sunday. You have a big world. We talked about that a little bit last time. So we're going to continue with our conversation. A few things that are in my mind to ask you. You mentioned in the leadership training two things that frustrate. Is that okay if we can talk about it?
Yeah.
Two
Let's
things
go.
that frustrate a pastor or a senior pastor about his team. That was a very honest conversation. I don't know if you can share a bit on that.
Well,
I'm sure you have the attention now. I'm sure.
I think there is a lot of things that frustrates senior and lead pastors with teams, and also the other way around. I think there's a lot of things that frustrate teams regarding lead pastors. But
Also,
talking about what I think that frustrates a lead pastor the most when it comes to a team, the first thing is when you have a team that only bring problems to the table. We know problems are a very significant part of a life of a leader. We know that. So I'm not trying to create a culture of running away from problems. But when you have a team that the only thing they do is to bring problems to the table without bringing ideas of solutions, can become very frustrating.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because, that's why we need a team.
Yeah.
We need a team because we are not capable to do it alone. So if the only thing the team does is to bring all the bad news, bad informations around, and all the problems they are seeing, and then expect that the senior leader to solve them, it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Because
you're putting a lot of pressure on the senior leader.
You don't have the capacity to do it.
And he is like, whoa, yeah.
We have to be honest. We don't know how to solve many problems.
Yeah.
That's why we need people around us.
Yeah.
That they know, or at least they have an idea that can help us to navigate that problem.
Yeah.
So that's why we need a team.
Yeah.
A team is not to have people around us to do what we demand. That's not a team. A team is to have people around us to think about the leadership of what we are leading.
Yeah.
So we need brains. We need, we need contributions.
Yeah.
We don't need just eyes to see what happens. We need eyes to see what happens, but we need brains to bring some thoughts on how to solve the problems that are coming. Yeah. So I realized that many senior pastors are frustrated with their teams because they just have people. The only thing they do when they gather together, bring problems.
All the problems,
to the table. And the second thing that, in my perspective, frustrates a senior pastor the most in regarding to a team, to their teams, is when they have people in the team that the only thing they do is to bring solutions. Because solution is not something that you bring, it's something that you are. This thing frustrates a lot pastors because sometimes we are in a table and people start bringing ideas.
Yeah.
And many of them are really good ideas. But then they don't take responsibility of the ideas that they are bringing.
We should
They
do
just-
this, we should
Yeah,
do this.
they just bring and drop the ideas
Yeah.
for you to do
for
it.
you to,
The problem is you don't know how to do it.
yeah, yeah,
So, one thing that I teach my team, not always with success, but at least
You try,
I try,
yeah.
is make sure that you are available to take ownership and responsibility over the thought, over the idea that you are bringing. Otherwise, you are not bringing a solution. You are bringing an idea that can lead us to a solution, but an idea is not a solution. A solution is a person. A solution is a person that actually takes responsibility for the idea that are bringing. That's the solution. Because solution are not ideas. Ideas are ways for solutions. But the solution is when someone take responsibility of the idea. For example, Pastor Errol, we have this problem, but I think I have a way to solve that problem. And if you want it, I can do it. That's a solution.
That's great.
That's the kind of people that we should have in our tables. You know? Of course, on our side, we have to give room for that. Because unfortunately, some pastors, they think that our main responsibility as senior leaders is to have the best ideas in the room. But I don't believe our biggest responsibility as senior leaders is to have all the ideas or the best ideas. Our main responsibility is to make the right choices, the right decisions.
Not
you understand?
Yeah.
So this is my main responsibility as senior leader, is to make the right decisions. And I have to be accountable to God about the decisions that I make, not the ideas that I have. I have no responsibility whatsoever before God to have all the ideas to solve the problems. The only responsibility that I have before God is to make the right decisions, and the right decisions. So we have to give room for people to give and to bring ideas, and also room for them to take ownership, responsibility over the ideas they are bringing. Okay?
Good.
And unfortunately, some pastors, they are not secure enough in their calling to allow others to do this.
Because
but I think it's a huge mistake.
That would also be interesting to hear you on the other side, to hear you talk about the other side. What frustrates the team about their pastor?
I think one of the things that frustrates the team about their pastors is when there is no room for their contributions. And of course, if someone wants to give a contribution but doesn't want to take responsibility of that contribution, that's another talk. We should not allow people to just drop, contributions and then, they go away without taking responsibility. But when people are willing to see the problem, bring an idea, and take responsibility of the idea they are bringing, we as senior leaders, we should give room for that to happen. That's our responsibility. Because if we don't give room for that to happen, we won't gonna have those kind of people in our table. We're just gonna have yes men. And I don't want. I hate to work with yes men. I love to work with ambitious people that think. That's why I don't like to work when it comes to senior leadership. I don't like to work with big teams. It's too much noise, too much opinions. I prefer like a small team, but very sharp, very, with brains, with ideas, So I love that. I love that.
This tension about space. So you work a lot with next generation leaders, young leaders, and they will tell you, give me space, I need space, I need more space. It's a word that we hear everywhere, I think, between the bit more senior leaders and the next generation of leaders. Can you zoom in a little bit on space? How much space do we give? What are the boundaries? How does that work in your world?
Every space has boundaries. If there is no boundaries, there is no space. It's like it's nobody's land.
Yeah,
You know, it's nobody's land.
yeah, yeah.
So when you buy a big house, there is boundaries to that. It's not,
Yeah.
you know. So every space has boundaries. So and we should always know our boundaries. And when we comes to delegate, we should be clear about the boundaries. Of course, we have to make sure that people have room to be themselves, to express what God put in their hearts.
Yeah.
So we have to give room, but we have to put some boundaries. And the boundaries that I put is the non-negotiable values of what I believe.
Yeah.
You know, so you cannot. One of the boundaries is the Bible boundary. So you cannot operate out of what the Bible says.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, if I invite someone to preach, usually I don't remember one day that I gave the outline and say, you have to preach this. No, you choose it. But you have one boundary. The one boundary is you have to keep always faithful to God's word. The stage is not for you to show off, show how smart you are, how funny you are, how many jokes you can tell, how good communicator you are. No, no, no. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to be faithful to God's word.
Yeah.
So that's a boundary.
Yeah.
You have to respect the culture of our church. That's another boundary. You have to honor your leaders. That's another boundary. So the thing is, when we start to do micromanagement, because micromanagement is not a boundary, it's an interference.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we should say, yeah, you have this land, and these are the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want,
Yeah.
but, you know, inside these boundaries. Another thing is always being, sneaking around, looking over their shoulder, doing micromanagement, always interfering in everything, blah, blah, blah. That can be a problem when it comes to give space.
Yeah.
I think because many, like me, I'm a little bit a control freak person. But the way I fight that problem is to have a good, or try to have a good system of information and reporting, but not be present always and interfering in everything.
Yeah.
So I give the boundaries and you have space to do it. If you go outside the boundaries, I will jump on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah,
if you don't, I will stay away.
Yeah.
No?
But the reporting is important for you.
Yeah, the reporting is important because one thing is to give space, another thing is to abandon. I don't want to abandon nothing in church. When I delegate something, I'm sharing responsibility. I'm not running away from responsibility. I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
And I trust that you can now do something that I did in the past. And I trust that you're going to do better. But I'm not abandoning. I'm not running away.
You're not walking away from.
I'm not turning my back to that area or that side of church life. So I need you just say to me how things go.
Yeah.
So we have a report, and I'm okay. If I have any doubt, I will talk to you. So But the opposite thing is to always be present. I'm in everything. I want to know everything. I will talk even the small details, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm jumping always in the space that I gave to the person. That's not a good thing.
No, because then they can say, well, I do it or you do it.
Yeah.
But this is,
so that's the thing of space. I need space.
Yeah.
I need space, and people need space.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also people need very clear boundaries.
And you probably start with a bit of space, and then when they do well, you will.
Yeah, of course, and maturity, spiritual authority, as you grow in maturity, in spiritual authority, of course, the amount of space given to you will increase.
Yeah.
The trust will increase.
Yeah.
That's a process.
Yeah.
It's not, for example, it's not wise to give a lot of space to someone that just started.
Yeah.
Not because he doesn't have the potential, not because he has any problem in his life, but he is not ready yet to deal with that space.
Yeah.
And more important is others are not ready yet to recognize him in that space.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an important factor, the recognition of the rest. You were teaching on, you can have prophecies, you can have promises of God in your life, but you still have to build that credentials, how do you say it? People see you grow, people see you function, taking responsibility.
It's very important because sometimes we can kill someone by giving too much space and too much in their hands, not because they don't have potential. We believe in them, we are seeing the potential, but we have to be careful because they or he or she will work with others. And others, they also need time to recognize spiritual authority, maturity, you know. Otherwise, we can create a problem, not between us and the person, but between the person and the others that this person gonna work with. So we have to be always very wise and be very balanced in the way we open up things for people. My heart is always to lead with an open hand. I love to see others coming up and doing and go further than me, and I love that. I believe that's the heart of leadership. But you have to be careful because you have to always measure if the other person that work with that person, they are in the same page and they had the time and the space to recognize in them that capacity, that maturity, that spiritual authority. Sometimes takes time. And it takes some time. So that that's why leadership is an art. You have to. There is no frames like if you do this and if you do this. Depends on many factors. So you have to be very wise how much you hand over to another people, not because you don't trust, not because you are insecure, but there is a lot of things, lot of tensions that you have to manage very wise in order to not kill that person. That's a very important thing that we should be aware when it comes to create space for others.
If you look at very practical question, you have 10 locations in Portugal. Do you work your leadership, the day-to-day leading of the church? Would that mean that you kind of only talk to the campus pastors, and you work through them, and they do the rest? Is it that simple?
No.
No?
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 No, because we have this is more structure, and people can
do it's a structure question.
Can do different, and there's no problem with that. But I'm not saying this is the right way or the best way. This is our way. And we have a balance because we are one church in many locations. We are not many churches together. You know, we are not a network of churches. We are one church in many locations. So we have one leadership, one vision, you know, one head. So
Yeah.
This is very important. So we have a balance between what we call national leaders with the campus pastors. For example, let's say worship or creative. We have a national creative pastor, and of course the locations, they have leaders in the creative area.
Mm-hmm.
And the leader in the creative area, of course, he reports to the campus pastor, but also
Okay.
to the national
Yeah.
oversight.
Yeah.
And when it comes to decide who's going to be the person in this location,
Mm.
is not just a decision of the campus pastor, and is not just a decision of the national pastor. They have to come to an agreement.
Both. Yeah.
And I just validate. If they both come to an agreement,
Yeah.
I validate. So it's always, the structure is not me and campus pastor. It's me, national leaders, then campus pastor.
Yeah.
You know, and they work together.
Yeah.
There's always a balance there because the campus pastor is in the field.
Mm.
He knows the people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the national leader cannot just say, this one gonna be the next worship leader in this location, because he probably doesn't know very well.
Yeah.
But also the campus pastor cannot just decide it without the
National
agreement,
leader. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then finally, I never unless that I know something that they don't know. But usually I don't interview nothing.
Yeah.
I just wait for, are you in agreement? If you are in an agreement,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Beautiful. Yeah.
pretty much the way we
Yeah.
operate.
Yeah.
It seems very simple. It's not. Sometimes we have like, you know, but that's, but my idea is always to keep the vision that we are one church. Because otherwise we can end up in the many churches together.
Yeah,
And we are not many churches together. We are one church in many locations.
Is that a challenge to keep the one church, one house culture to keep that alive? Is that a challenge? Yeah. Especially maybe with
the growth. Growth
growth.
always brings this challenge. And when it's one or two locations, it's much easier. You know, when it's one, is
that's very
no
easy.
tension there.
Yeah.
But since you start open new locations or campuses, it's always a tension there. I'm not saying that this way of doing is the best way, but the thing is, what for me is non-negotiable is not the structure, but is the vision of we are one church. You know, that is no negotiable. So we are one church, we have one leadership, we have one vision, and we have one direction.
So as a close, the one leadership is you, the campus pastors, and the national leaders. Is that?
Well, not necessarily. Again, no. That's the way things operate.
Yeah, operate on the day-to-day.
The day-to-day, the executive side.
Yeah.
But I have a core leadership team that actually helped me to do the main decisions. When it comes to direction. You know, I have like a very small core leadership team.
A bit more the spiritual oversight.
Actually they have a voice when it comes to a decision. Not the executive side. Executive side, we have executive teams and people everywhere. They do, and they do very well, and they do better than us. But when it comes to major decisions, I'm not talking about decisions. Should we sing this song or that song?
No.
Should we put this stage design or that stage design? Should we do this way or that way? No. We don't. This is not our responsibility. It's when it comes to major decisions.
Then you have a core leadership. Thank you, Mario. It's great.
It's been my pleasure to be here.
Great talking to you. Time is already gone, and we thank you. We bless you what you're doing in Portugal and even worldwide. Thank you for investing your time the whole weekend here. It's fantastic to have you.
For me and my wife was really refreshing to be this weekend with you. You and Matilda are good friends, and see the church moving forward. it's always a joy for us seeing friends succeed and go forward. So I'm gonna leave The Hague.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
In a few
and
hours
inspired.
you will be in the airplane.
In a few hours I will be at the airport.
Traveling back. So.
But it's a small flight back to Lisbon.
Yeah.
It's a small flight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the friendship all those years. 14 years ago, Pastor Mario was here with us for the first time. 14 years ago. That's how long we've been working together. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. Share it with friends, and next time I'll see you again when we have a guest or somebody from the house to share on leadership. God bless you in your leadership, and He is always with you. See you soon.